So glad you are here for this one because this is super important for your relationship to go the distance. You might inadvertently be wreaking havoc on your relationship, and that is not all your intention. You need to know this acronym and exactly what to do about it. First of all, you have to know what the acronym stands for and get the ideas behind it, and that's what this video is all about. So before I go on, don't forget to subscribe, hit the red alert bell so you get all my upcoming videos, and also share this information with other women because it is so vital. And when you get it, you can go the distance, make yourself happy, and most importantly, you're going to make him happy as well, so the two of you can be happy together. Because you, as the woman, are the mechanic of your relationship. You keep that relationship car well-oiled and on the road. So let's get to it. So the R in wreaking havoc, or wrecking havoc, however you want to say it. It is about reaching out to him. Yes, if you are reaching out, and you're going to think, well, why would that in any way be wreaking havoc on our relationship? I'm going to tell you why. Reaching out to him is a very insidious, very subtle, and very slow going or growing way to systematically sap him of his desire for you. I'm going to put it maybe in a term you might understand, or in a way you might understand. And that is, I want you to think of your pet, perhaps. If you don't have one, I think most all people can get this concept about anything that they might love, like a baby, but something that gives them that feeling, that very special, awestruck feeling of wonder and wanting that little being in some way. So let's take it with a puppy or a cat, doggy, kitty. Very, very easy to understand. When you want to be around that little being, you want the little being to be receptive and not always be scurrying away from you. But when you want it, you are most open and accepting of the love, and your energy goes towards it, and then you're most enjoying the receiving of it. You get the most from that interaction. But when that pet comes up to you, if you are busy, you're otherwise thinking even, just engaged in something else, it can be annoying. And in that moment, when the pet annoys you, while that is fleeting, you have to understand that in human interactions, it erodes the feeling. So this is what the man needs to feel. He needs you to be like that cute little puppy or kitten. So that when he comes to you, meaning even if it's just reaching out in text, and I'm going to give you a little bit of tweak on this and caveat so that you really work it, that when he does this, when you don't immediately respond, then you make him wonder. And wonder is the way that men love. Men love through wondering. So you're creating it. This is really twofold. It is huge, not reaching out. Now you may say, well, there are times when I have to get information. That's different. That's tangible information. It's not about your emotions. You need to find out what time is dinner on Saturday because you're making plans. That's something different. Tangible, and that can be done. best to be done when he reaches out and comes to you to want to pet you. That's a better time. He's more receptive and likely not annoyed. So think about that and make sure that first on the acronym, the R, you don't engage in. Now again, everything's an 80-20, but I want you to be sure to be thinking of that and go to my 5 R's of texting video to understand even more about texting and responding to texts. Okay, so what is the E? I want you to think about not putting your energy towards him. Meaning, I want you to think of yourself as a magnet and you are attracting him rather than putting your energy out to him. This female energy is the attraction energy. You stand in your value. You know that you're a pretty puppy. It's my puppy principle in my book, Why Won't He Commit? If you haven't read it, read it. It will help you a lot. You must understand that you are that puppy, and when you are there being all cute and wonderful, that's when he is most wanting to come to you to receive your energy and all that is wonderful about you. So when you keep your energy from going out towards him, you're going to get it back from him tenfold, and this helps you go the distance. Okay, the C in the R.E.C.K.I.N.G Havoc acronym. Caretaking. Your caretaking of him comes from a really wonderful place because, again, in my book, we are the 3 C's of women. We are all about connection, cooperation, caretaking. But when we do that with men, it can have a deleterious effect, and meaning that you can overdo it if you're not really thinking about it all the time. He wants someone not to be attending to him all the time. This goes with the energy. Same thing. So be sure not to be over caretaking and think about it. Is it something he's asked for or he tangibly needs? But even then, if he hasn't asked you for it, don't do it. Even sometimes if he has asked you for it. And you know you're on the right track. When a man says, for example, in the last, the reaching out and the E, if he says, you don't text me very often, or how come you don't call me, or something of that sort, you know you're on the right track. He's feeling that energy, and that's fantastic because it makes him try harder when he's actually in the act of achieving your time, attention, and affection. It is the best for him. It keeps him in that wonder state, and that is when he is actively loving. Okay, so the K. Keeping him from other pursuits. This is one of those things, and I really want you to, if you recognize that you're doing this, you've got to stop it. He wants to do his thing. And of course, he has some responsibility to the relationship, but you've got to be so careful. Because if you are indicating that you don't like his other pursuits, that they're bothersome to you, that the time away from you is annoying you, that's energy towards him that doesn't allow him to want to put his energy towards you. So if you are keeping him from other pursuits, you've got to really think about that and delete. The next, insisting on time with him. Same thing. That's why I put it here. Keeping him from other pursuits, insisting on time with him. It's very interesting, but a man, because he loves through wondering, he doesn't need to be spending as much time with you as you as a woman might need to be spending time with him. And here's what I mean by that. Because you as a woman love through knowing, again, this is my number one gender gap in my book. Women love through knowing, men love through wondering. And because you love through knowing, spending time with him reinforces your knowing. Now, it doesn't mean that it actually means anything in terms of him, because he can spend a lot of time with you but still not be moving towards commitment. But generally speaking, you feel good spending more time with him because it reinforces your knowing, but it doesn't do anything for his wonder. And because men love through wondering, they don't need as much time with you. And so you need to find for him the sweet spot and just let him drive the amount of time you are together. And then the G here in the wreaking havoc on your relationship. Giving too much information about your past and your relationships. This is such a tough one because I know in our society everything is out there, and we need to communicate, we need to be truthful and honest with each other, which you do, but not about this with a man. And why is that? This is very out of our realm in many ways, but here's another analogy for you to get it. If a man is telling you about one of his past girlfriends or wife or any ex, dependent, it can ramp up your jealousy or feelings of inadequacy. That's just a normal thing to happen. Now, depending upon it, you can take in the information and you rationalize it and you get it and you just like knowing about him and his past. Well, if you do the same thing, it does not have the same effect on him. What it can do is completely cut him off from his wonder and then from his feelings towards you and about you, and give him a reason not to commit or go the distance. We don't want to give him any reason. And no good can really come of you bearing your soul and really being completely open about your past relationships. So you say, well, what do I do? He asks. He wants to know. This is a big one that you've likely heard me say before, but be vague. Vague is your friend. I often say vagina and vague begin with the same letter, so you remember to be vague. It's very important to be vague. You just, it's not that you don't answer at all, but you answer in a way that gives a generalization about it. When he says, well, why didn't your last boyfriend? What happened there? What, you didn't like him, you didn't this, you didn't that, or he wasn't this, he wasn't that. Do not go into details. Be vague. You know, it was just one of those things. It didn't work out. And if he probes more, you know, I don't really think about those details. All I know is that it didn't feel right. And it wasn't right because obviously we're both out of it and I'm here with you. You see, that's how you bring it back around to the here and now. You're vague about the past, and this will serve you very, very well. This video is chock full of very serious information. I didn't even go into that much detail. So I want you to re-listen, re-watch, time and again, go through this acronym and understand these very serious components about what you might be doing to inadvertently wreak havoc on your relationship. If so, you can change it. You have that ability. You can change it today. You can change it right away. Don't do that reaching out to him. Don't put your energy towards him. Think about holding your energy for yourself and be a magnet for his energy to come to you. Caretaking, really, you've got to maybe keep yourself from that natural inclination. Don't be keeping him from his pursuits that he wants to do. Not insisting on time with him. And let him derive the amount of time you're together. And when that wonder is ramped up, he will want to spend more time with you. And the G, don't be giving him too much information about your past for him to make a judgment on things, that it will maybe be off and not appropriate, because you know if you're with him, you want to be with him and you're perhaps in love with him. So giving him too much information about anything that can veer him off the road will not do you a service and not allow you to go the distance. Again, watch and rewatch. Repetition is what is going to get it into your brain. Until next time, don't forget, with any man in your life, you gotta make him wonder. I trust you got a lot of good information from today's video, and I enjoy bringing you content that is valuable for success in your romantic life. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the alert bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you want more on any of the content you see here, you can go to my book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. You can order it at any fine retailer where you get your books. And if you want more on me or any of my programs, my podcast, go to CoachPaulagrooms.com, and we could be talking soon.